So you want to rank up faster? If that is in fact the case, boy oh boy do I have just the tips for you. Today I'm going to be showcasing 5 tips that should, in theory, make you a better rank player. So without further ado, sit back, get some popcorn, maybe take some notes, and enjoy the video. The first tip I want to talk about today is definitely tactical positioning, and what I mean by this is putting yourself in a lane or an area where you know enemies are going to rotate through. This little map is supposed to depict what I am doing in this clip. The red arrows show which ways enemies can come through, the green lines show which doorways I'm supposed to defend, and the blue dot is me in the 2 rooms that I am playing. So what I mean by tactical positioning is the fact that you need to put yourself in an area which enemies are going to use to get to the hard point or the domination objective. Which means yes, you're going to have to fight a lot of enemies and take a lot more gunfights, but at the same time you're going to be stopping them from pushing into the hard point if you do this effectively. The best tip I can give you guys when it comes to actually doing this is use a high capacity gun like an SMG, because it gives you the ability to hold off as many enemies as possible and as effectively as possible. When you're doing this, you're going to very much be relying on sound, so make sure you have a good headset, and you also want to make sure you always have cover and you're not going to get shot from 2 sides at once. If you see more enemies coming from more doorways than you can handle, then make sure you get to cover so that they don't kill you. Another important thing to keep in mind is that you always need to check your entryways to make sure you don't get overwhelmed. Alright, for the second tip, I advise you guys to play according to your gun's effective range. For example, if you want to use an SMG, you want to be as close as possible to the enemy and you want to be in close quarters gunfights, compared to if you're using an assault rifle where you want to be at somewhat of a medium range instead of getting up close and personal with your enemy. As enticing as it sounds, sitting in a corner with the shotgun is definitely not the most effective tactic in this game. Which is why for tip number 3, I advise you guys to just go and look for your enemies more instead of having your enemies come to you. Which I know goes against the first tip I gave you guys, however, being able to find your gunfights before they find you is a skill that not a lot of players have, especially in lower ranks. However, it is a skill that will put you way ahead of the competition and will definitely help you rank up faster. Contrary to what I said in the first tip, I want you to stop playing so close to a domination objective, especially the B flag. In this example, the red dot represents the B capture point, the blue circles represent the positions in which you can defend it from, the red arrows represent the ways through which enemies are going to come. What all the positions that I highlighted have in common is the fact that they all give you a line of sight on the objective while also giving cover. Unlike hardpoint, you do not get any benefit from playing as close as possible to the actual capture point, especially if your team already controls it, so it's better to have a upper hand in defending it than just be on the ground right next to it, getting blown up by literally everything the enemy throws at you. The difference between this and the first tip is the fact that here you're actually waiting for the enemy to come into your field of view instead of you constantly blocking them from rotating. You could always hold a really close angle on the line that they're pushing, however they're going to keep respawning the same spot and eventually you're going to get overwhelmed, where unlike in hardpoint, the spawns constantly flip. And yes, this tip more applies to domination than anything else before you ask me. I truly cannot begin to express how important this tip is, but make sure you have your loadouts set up according to your playstyle. I, as somebody who likes to do what is called slaying whenever I'm playing with somebody, aka playing outside the objective and not letting the enemies get close to it, I tend to set up my loadouts to be a bit more aggressive. However, if you're trying to play more passive or you're trying to play more defensively, I advise you to use different perks and a different gunsmith. I just want to specify, I'm not telling you to use the same exact guns I'm using, I'm not telling you to use the meta. However, I am encouraging you to go and look at your playstyle and adjust your guns accordingly. As a little side note, I definitely advise to have at least one loadout where you have a FAJ equipped. I recommend pairing it up with an LMG so you can disable and destroy any enemy score streaks such as stealth choppers and sentry guns, because those can be extremely annoying, especially when you're trying to rank up. Alright, so these are my 5 tips on how to rank up faster. Let me know if any of these helped you, and if you're interested in becoming a better player, check out this other video I made in which I give tips on how to become a better sniper. As always, if you enjoyed this content, do drop a subscribe and recommend me some more content ideas that I should do. Thank you a whole lot for watching, and maybe check out the links in the description as it would help me out a whole lot. Have a good one. Peace.